The third session of the Senate and the first regular session of the 19th Congress is hereby called to order. Senator Maria Lourdes Nancy Binay will lead the chamber in prayer.
If you say the Lord is my refuge, and you make the Most High your dwelling, no harm will overtake you, no disaster will come near your tent. Psalm 91, verses 9 to 10. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Our loving Father, we come to you in all humility in this hour of great need and seek your love and protection. Panginoon, mabigat po ang damdamin naming dumudulog sa inyo para sa kapakanan ng aming mga kababayang lubhang naapektuhan ng lindol ngayong umaga. Panalangin po namin naway protektahan at iligtas po ninyo ang bawat buhay, ang bawat tahanan ng aming mga kababayan. Sila po ay kasalukuyang dumaranas ng pagsubok, bunga ng malakas na pagyanig ng lupa. Kami po ay nababagabag, ngunit kami patuloy na nanalig sa inyong walang patid na pagmamahal. Ikukubli po ninyo kami at ilalayo sa dagdag na kapahamakan. Our loving Father, we fervently believe in your promise of salvation. Lord, quell our troubled hearts, fortify our souls so that we do not give into doubt, and strengthen our bodies so that we may be able to provide aid and succor to our fellows who are facing this trial. All this we ask in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Secretary, may please call the roll.
Roll call of members. The Honorable Senator Angara, Senator Binay, Senator Cayetano Alan, Senator Cayetano Pia, Senator De La Rosa, Senator Ejercito, Senator Escudero, Senator Estrada, Senator Gatchalian, Senator Go, Senator Ontiveros, Senator Lapid, Senator Legarda, Senator Marcos, Senator Padilla, Senator Pimentel, Senator Poe, Senator Revilla, Senator Tolentino, Senator Tulfo, Senator Villanueva, Senator Villar Cynthia, Senator Villar Mark, the Senate President.
With 23 senators present, the chair declares the presence of a quorum. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, we are blessed and honored to be to have here with us in the Senate plenary the Japanese ambassador to the Philippines, His Excellency Koshikawa Kazuhiko. And may we acknowledge the presence of our
Welcome.
ambassador.
Welcome to the Senate, Mr. Ambassador.
Thank you, Mr. President. Also, we would like to acknowledge and welcome to the Senate the Governor of Sultan Kudarat, Datu Pax Ali Sangki Mangundadatu, Mr. President.
Welcome to the Senate, Datu Pax.
Also, Mr. President, Mayor Ed Saludaga of Lavezares, Northern Samar, Vice Governor of Bohol, Dionisio Balite, and Bohol Board Member Tita Baha.
Welcome to the Senate.
Sorry,
Fellow
Mr. President,
public
there's two more. We have with us the Mayor of Nanungan, Lanao del Norte, Mayor Marcos Mamay, and Mayor Haron Omar of Magsaysay, Lanao del Norte. Thank you, Mr. President.
Welcome to my dear friends, my silingan in Lanao del Norte.
Mr. President, I was told that we will just...
Maybe we can move the deferral of the journal.
Yes, Mr. President. At this juncture, I move that we approve Journal of the Second Session, Tuesday, July 26, 2022. So move, Mr. President.
There being no objection, the motion is approved.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, the gentleman from Taguig Patero, Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, would like to make a short manifestation, Mr. President. May I move that he be recognized, Mr. President?
Senator Alan Peter
Thank
Cayetano of Taguig Pateros is recognized.
Sir President, with your permission, the permission of the majority and minority leader and our colleagues, just a short manifestation. Today, a 7.0 magnitude earthquake struck our country. On an average, 20 typhoons hit the Philippines. The 2021 World Risk Report said that we ranked 8 out of 181 countries in terms of disaster risk. German Watch ranked the Philippines 4th among the countries most affected by climate change weather catastrophes from 2000 to 2019. So I'd just like to manifest, Mr. President, that even President Marcos in his briefing today mentioned the need for a Department of Disaster Resiliency. Senator Bongo has filed a bill on this. Also, Senator Pia Cayetano. So, Senate Bill number 66 filed by this representation, Emergency Response Department Act of 2016. Senate Bill number 188, Disaster Resilience Act of 2022, filed by Senator Christopher Lawrence Bongo, and Senate Bill number 662, Disaster Resilience Act of 2022, by Senator Pia. No less than our Senate President Pro Tem yesterday, fittingly was the first one to speak on the environment. So I just like to manifest and ask the leadership to consider asking the President to consider these bills urgent. The present NDRRMC are filled with very committed, dedicated people. I've seen them work. Pero Mr. President, 44 agencies, ad hoc coordination, no? Coordinating lang sila. We need one department that will be accountable, one department that will be the one to do the job, and we can pinpoint if any coordination is needed. So personally, I'm drafting a letter to Malacanang to ask that these bills be certified urgent, but if the majority leader can consider in the Rules Committee meeting, if the Senate as a whole wants to ask for this bill to be certified urgent, I'd greatly appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I, for one, would like to be part of this particular measure, Mr. President, and we will consider that as soon as we organize the Committee on Rules, Mr. President.
Thank you. As a matter of fact, for the information of my dear colleague from Taguig Pateros, we also filed as part of my top 10 measures was the bill creating the Department of Disaster Resilience. So I fully support it, and you'll have the support from this chair.
Hello? Yeah. I'm sorry if I missed out that you also, or if any of our colleagues filed the bill. I just looked into this this morning, but all and every bill that relates to disaster resiliency, to emergency response, if it will be the pleasure of the Senate as a whole to ask the President to certify this urgent. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much to our dear colleague.
Thank you, Mr. President. And again, we commiserate, nakikiramay po tayo dun sa mga pamilya na naapektuhan nitong nakaraang lindol na ating naranasan. And we are calling on our LGUs, Office of Civil Defense, DSWD, and other agencies of the government na makapagparating agad ng tulong. And I would also like to put on record that a lot of senators inside the Senate lounge a while ago were talking as to how we'll be able to help in any way we can. Yes. And let me also put on record, Mr. President, that we wanted to commend the immediate response of our Senate offices, especially our Office of the Sergeant at Arms and all our security personnel for securing the safety of all our Senate staff and personnel this morning. Yes. Thank you, Mr.
And
President.
to add to that, Mr. Majority Leader, to our dear colleagues, Senator Lauren Legarda also made mention earlier, if we can chip in, no, magbigay po tayo ng tulong o ayuda galing sa ating sweldo, we can do that. We just have to figure out kung kanino natin ibibigay yung tulong natin. So we can work that out with your team, Majority Leader, and we can discuss this further with our colleagues in the Senate.
Yes, Mr. President.
We can help the ating mga kababayan sa Norte.
Thank you. Duly noted that on that, Mr. President. Mr. President, before we take up the reference of business, I know we have a voluminous number of bills to take up for the reference of business for first reading. We'd just like to first take up Senate resolutions for adoptions, particularly on the death of former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. So with the permission of the body, Mr. President, I move that we consider proposed resolution number 10, taking into consideration proposed Senate resolution numbers 28 and 60. So move, Mr. President.
Before I act on your motion, my dear Majority Leader, may I ask the Senate President Pro Tem, because I am going to sponsor the resolution for Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, may I ask the Senate President Pro Tem to assume the podium. So the motion is approved, and I ask for 1 minute suspension.
Majority Leader
Yes,
is
Madam
recognized.
President, I move that we recognize the distinguished Senate President, Senator Juan Miguel Zubiri, for his sponsorship, Madam President.
Before that, Mr. Majority Leader, we first consider proposed Senate Resolution number 10, taking into consideration proposed Senate Resolutions 28 and 60 that is now in order. And with the permission of the body, the Secretary will read only the title of the resolutions without prejudice to inserting into the record the whole text thereof.
Proposed Senate Resolution number 10 by Senator Juan Miguel F. Zubiri. Resolution expressing the profound sympathy and sincere condolences of the Senate of the Philippines on the death of former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe.
Are there any sponsors to the measure, Mr. Majority Leader?
Yes, Madam President, move that we recognize our distinguished Senate President, Senator Juan Miguel Zubiri. So moved, Mr. President.
The Senate President, Juan Miguel Zubiri, is recognized.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my dear Senate President Pro Tem. Ladies and gentlemen, it saddens me to stand here today to sponsor this resolution under tragic circumstances of Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's passing. Nonetheless, I stand here to honor the extraordinary life and service of Prime Minister Abe and his outsized influence that reached far beyond the shores of his homeland. My deepest condolences go out to his family, his wife, Madame Abe Aki, and the Japanese people, represented in our chamber today by our dear friend, Ambassador Koshikawa Kazuhiko. Prime Minister Abe was an exceptional leader whose impact is felt not only in Japan, but in our country as well. He was a very good friend to the Philippines, and it was under his leadership that Japan and the Philippines were really able to strengthen our bilateral relationship. In fact, by 2015, Japan had become our top trading partner, unseating even the United States of America. And I'd like to add today, Madam President, that when I saw the ambassador, right away the ambassador was concerned about the earthquake in northern Luzon, and he offered immediately aid from JICA. The teams are ready. His teams are ready from Japan to fly in at any time to help on the rescue efforts being done in towns and in cities up in the north. We thank him for that offer. That's how close the friendship we are with the nation of Japan. Further, through Prime Minister Abe's leadership and initiatives, the Japan International Cooperation Agency, or JICA, and the Official Development Assistance Fund provided us invaluable help and support across various sectors, including transportation, agriculture, health, peace and order. Particularly, I'd like to make special mention, and alam po to ni former Senate President Coco Pimentel, the peace process in Mindanao. They were front and center helping us out. And as a Mindanaoan, I'm very, very grateful for that. As a Mindanao, as your father would say. He also believed deeply in the progress promised by the Build, Build, Build program. And so during his time as Prime Minister, Japan provided us with assistance worth 1 trillion yen for the Build, Build, Build program. Among our infrastructure developments, he has perhaps one of the, if not the most supportive of our bid to strengthen our public transportation. If we enter the Senate, Your Honors, downstairs, and you see that model of the subway, that is a Japan-funded project, Your Honors. Ask anyone who's had the opportunity to experience it, and they will tell you that Japan's public transport system is unrivaled by efficiency. It is the vital thread that mobilizes Japanese life and economy. And Prime Minister Abe saw that for the Philippines to achieve genuine progress to an empowered and mobile citizenry, we would have to have a world-class public transportation system as well. Hence, under his leadership, Japan became our partner in development and construction of the Metro Manila Subway project through their grant aid program. And we Filipinos will always remember this project as Prime Minister Abe's legacy to our country and to our people. We will honor Prime Minister Abe through the successful completion of the projects that he supported. And before I end this, I would like to say that they've also helped us a lot in the field of defense. They provided us with so much Navy ships, some through grants, some through loans for under construction now by Japan Navy shipyards. And we thank the Japanese people for that. And these were all triggered by Prime Minister Abe. So we will forever regard him as a dear friend and ally of the Filipino people. Maraming salamat, and again, our deepest condolences to the family of Prime Minister Shinzo Abe.
Thank you very much. We acknowledge the resolutions filed by the Senate President and our other colleagues. We recognize the Majority Leader once again.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, Senator Bong Revilla wishes to just insert into the records his sponsorship speech. He is one of the principal authors of these Senate resolutions that we are deliberating upon. Next in line, Madam President, is Senator Bato de la Rosa, the gentleman from Davao City. May he be recognized, Madam President.
We recognize Senator Ronald de la Rosa.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Majority Leader. Abe was a good and loyal friend, a staunch supporter of my administration, and a strong ally of the nation. As the world mourns the loss of this great man, we remember him for his compassionate service and remarkable leadership. Indeed, one of the most influential world leaders of our time. Mr. President, that was how former President Rodrigo Duterte spoke of Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Indeed, today, as we gather in the halls of the Senate, we mourn the loss of one who was a dear friend, not only to our President, but more importantly to our Republic. As Japan's longest-serving Prime Minister, Shinzo Abe was able to strike that much-needed balance between formality and friendship. When former President Duterte was elected President, Prime Minister Abe was the first foreign leader to visit the Philippines, surely to strengthen ties between the Philippines and Japan, but also to enjoy the life that our country has to offer, eating bibingka, kutsinta, and durian, adopting a Philippine eagle and naming it Sakura, and visiting the then President Duterte at his home in Davao City and eating mungo soup with him. During Duterte's administration, the Philippines and Japan entered the age of strategic partnership. Zooming in on the field of infrastructure, we can rightly say that a huge bulk of the Build, Build, Build program owes itself to our ties with and the support of Japan. To lose him is painful to accept, but that we lost him to an assassination is an even more bitter pill to swallow. It might be tempting to succumb to the seeming hopelessness of it all. Napakadaling sumuko at mawalan ng pag-asa. But no, Mr. President, we here at the Senate shall refuse to give up and give in to the darkness of the situation. And instead, we shall move forward with hope. We shall choose to remember Prime Minister Abe as the statesman who was also a genuine friend. And in remembering, may we also extend the same diplomacy and friendship to all those that we may encounter along the way. To Prime Minister Abe's family and loved ones, please accept our deepest condolences. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. We acknowledge with appreciation the manifestation of Senator De La Rosa. Mr. Majority Leader.
Yes, Madam President, at this juncture, may we recognize the gentleman from San Juan, Senator J.V. Ejercito, for his sponsorship.
Senator Ejercito is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd just like to manifest also that my co-sponsor's speech be read into the records, but just like to make a very short manifestation of my personal experience with Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. During the 17th Congress, when I was the one defending most of the Build program under the DOTR of the Duterte administration, I was also tasked, and I was privileged enough not to be included in most of the presidential trips of President Duterte and the working visits to Japan. And I was also part of most of the high-powered meetings regarding transport. And in one of those meetings and dinners, I could remember, Madam President, that it was Prime Minister Shinzo Abe himself who announced that Japan will undertake the North-South Commuter Line project that spans from Calamba, Metro Manila, and Clark, which is now ongoing. Nandun na po sa Clark as of now ang construction. The North Line from Clark going up to Ilocandia, and the Manila subway system as mentioned by our Senate President. And I have also mentioned that we owe so much to this person. He is really a true friend with a genuine concern for the Filipino people. Likewise, for our Coast Guard, I was also a witness that Japan also gave, I think, 4 modern ships that the Coast Guard is now using, and reconnaissance planes. So it is with deep sympathies that this has to happen to a true friend and a genuine person who is concerned for the Filipino people, who is also a JCI brother, by the way. So we express our deepest sympathies to the people of Japan, of course, to the family of Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Arigato gozaimasu, Shinzo Abe.
Thank you very much, Senator J.V. Ejercito.
Yes, Madam President. Madam President, Senator Pia Cayetano from the distinguished lady from Taguig Pateros would also like to make a manifestation.
Senator Pia
should be
Cayetano
recognized.
is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Our colleagues emphasized the deep friendship between the Philippines and Japan under the leadership of Prime Minister Abe. Allow me to add to the record. In 2013, I was sent by the Senate to represent the Philippine Senate, in a parliamentary group between Southeast Asia members of parliament and Japan. We were hosted in Japan, and that was my opportunity to meet Prime Minister Abe. I was so pleasantly surprised when during one of the events hosted by the women parliamentarians, I first heard the term coined by Prime Minister Abe. The term is Womenomics. So many of us have heard about Abenomics. He coined the term Womenomics. In his 3 arrows of Abenomics, it includes monetary easing, fiscal stimulus, and structural reforms. And under structural reforms was Womenomics, wherein the objective was to boost economic growth through reforms and policies by encouraging the participation and advancement of women in the Japanese workforce. According to Prime Minister Abe, they have achieved so much. Kumbaga, sagad na yung mga talent nila, pero there had one talent that was not yet totally being used, and that is the women force. So in the years to come, I actually saw this unfold. But around the same time I met Prime Minister Abe, he also shared this in his address of the 68th session of the United Nations General Assembly. His intention to cultivate the power of women as the greatest potential for the growth of the Japanese economy. Can you imagine that? In a culture where, well, many cultures in the world actually do not fully recognize the potential of women. In Japan, Prime Minister Abe stated that they will cultivate the power of women as the greatest potential to the growth of the Japanese economy. And then during the Global Leaders Meeting on Gender Equality and Women Empowerment in 2015, Prime Minister Abe reiterated that fundamental pillar of his policy. And it will be shown later on in his key policy proposals and incentives that indeed it was not just words, but Womenomics were included in the following. They established new targets for the participation and advancement of women in the workforce. They increased the availability of daycare and after-school care. Dear colleagues, I like to emphasize that we expect women to show up for work. But many of us neglect or choose not to recognize that they are in charge of their families back home. Their children, the function of their whole family, the welfare of their family. Kung merong may sakit, sino mag-a-absent? Sino magdadala sa doktor? Kaming mga babae. I commend the men here and feel free to stand up if kayo ang nagdadala sa anak nyo sa doktor. Does anyone want to stand up? Very good, very good. Okay. Maraming salamat. O yan, meron. Kasi dear colleagues, and I ask for the indulgence of our ambassador, but this is about Philippine Japan friendship and the example that Prime Minister Abe left. The reality is, women play that dual role. And that's why I was so impressed that Prime Minister Abe mentioned it repeatedly in international forums and then came out with very specific targets, increasing the availability and daycare and after-school care. Ano yung daycare sa Pilipinas? Ang daycare sa Philippines actually is like a preschool. It is not really meant to be a place where women who work can leave their children so they can work. So there is a lot of room for improvement in the Philippines. Encouraging the private sector to promote more women and provide data-led the advancement of women. So that's also very important because many times we hide behind that one woman that is present in the board. Or let's go to politics. It's enough that they say, we have a woman councilor running. Yeah, but you have 7 others that are all men. So when you actually look at the data, then it is revealed that not enough women are given those positions of advancement. Recruiting and promoting women in government, that's another one. And expanding child care leave benefits. Dear colleagues, listen to this. Effective April 2014, the government increased payment to new parents from 50 to 67% of their salary during the first 6 months of parental leave. Dinagdagan pa. because they were going to be parents, which is a role that they recognize is very important. The government also provided incentives to encourage fathers to take child care leave and set a goal to increase the proportion of fathers who actually take paternity leave. They also embarked on reviewing the tax and social security system to be neutral with regards to how women choose to participate in the labor market. Interestingly, 6 years after Prime Minister Abe announced the policy on Womenomics, the share of women in their prime working years with a job had gone up from 73% to 77.5%. I looked at that and I was like, not that big, about 4%. But you know what? That translated to 2 million women in the workforce. So that is really what good policy can create. These are very clear examples, and I would like to commend the late Prime Minister Abe for this example that he has given to the world and even to the Philippines. And I acknowledge the opportunity to have met him. And although the next program I'm about to mention may not directly have happened because of Prime Minister Abe, but it is because, again, of the policy of promoting sports as a way of developing the youth and also improving ties among nations. Because Japan was hosting the Olympics in 2020, as early as 2015, do I have my date right? Yes. In 2015, through the then ambassador, I was able to arrange the UP football team to train in Japan. And that was because of the policy set by the late Prime Minister to really promote friendship and support for sports. So naiinggit ang ating Senate President dahil hindi niya nadala doon ang kanyang team. And I'm sure he will be excited to do the same. But that has been a great opportunity. And as we were talking with the ambassador, our Olympian and champion gymnast, Kaloy Yulo, is training very effectively in Japan, and we are very proud about that. I can go on and on, dear colleagues, but I will end now. I just wanted to add that other dimension of the impression that was left with me and will continue to be an inspiration to me. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, the distinguished gentleman from Las Piñas, Senator Mark Villar, wishes to be acknowledged, Mr. President.
The distinguished gentleman from Las
For his,
Piñas,
manifestation.
Senator Mark Villar.
Yes, I'd just like to, yes, Mr. President, I'd like to manifest my support to this resolution. And I'd also like to express our profound sympathies for Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Being a member of the Duterte cabinet and sitting here amongst many former cabinet members, we are all witness to the great contribution of the Japanese government and, of course, Prime Minister Shinzo Abe in all sectors of government. In particular, for me, being a member of the Build, Build, Build program of President Duterte, and in particular in the DPWH, I can say that the assistance that JICA and the Japanese government have given will echo in many generations for all Filipinos. Just to name some major projects include the Pasig Marikina Revetment Project, which is a master plan project dedicated to solving the flooding in Metro Manila. We have the Central Luzon Link Expressway, another major project connecting two major provinces. We have numerous bypass roads in the countryside, and of course in other departments. They mentioned earlier with the DOTR, and of course even in the defense sector and other sectors, the support of the Japanese government has been invaluable to our national development. And at the same time, I still have fond memories of our monthly, almost, trips to Japan for our high-level meetings, of which I think the ambassador was part of as well. And these are things that will always be in my memory. At the same time, I'd just like to add that until now, I still have a selfie with Shinzo Abe that I keep in my, not only I printed it in my house, it's in my living room, and I still keep it on my cell phone to this day, one of the proudest pictures that I have. So again, I'd like to express our profound sadness at such a tragic event, and I'd also like to express our great admiration and thanks for the contribution of the Japanese people to our country's development. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. Next to sponsor, Mr. President, is the distinguished lady from Antique, our Senate President pro tempore, Senator Lauren Legarda.
The distinguished
Mr.
lady from
President.
Antique is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, on the 8th of July this year, we lost a great leader. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was regarded as a great political leader and a revered statesman. His untimely death, without a doubt, is a tragedy not only to his family and Japan, but to the world. He was a leader with a vision that transcends generations. He was known for his strong presence in international affairs and his economic agenda called Womenomics, which sought to revive economic growth in Japan through reforms. He also advocated for women empowerment and highlighted the critical role of women in economic growth. He introduced Womenomics, which brought more women into the workforce, and together with his wife, Mrs. Akie Abe, they established the World Assembly of Women, where I was privileged to have participated in representing the Philippines in 2014. In 2015, Mr. President, we had the honor to meet the Prime Minister once again on Philippine soil. The late Prime Minister and his wife came to the Philippines during APEC. And as a short aside, they even brought rice from Japan from their own small organic farm and shared their rice with me as a pasalubong and shared their advocacies and plans to support Japan's economic growth. Mrs. Abe even joined us in a National Museum tour of the Hiblanang Textile Gallery and the Climate Change Gallery, as well as the area that had baskets pertaining to our rice harvest. I feel so much for the people of Japan who have lost a great leader. I so admire his vision and his leadership. Prime Minister Abe also hosted the United Nations Sendai Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction. He was a key figure in also strengthening Philippine-Japan relations. And through his help, as already mentioned by our distinguished colleagues, Japan was able to provide assistance in various sectors, in defense and security, in transport and agriculture, peace and Mindanao, among others. So on behalf of the Filipino people, we thank him for the close relations he built between our countries. In this August chamber, we wish to honor an exemplary leader, a friend of our nation, Prime Minister Shinzo Abe of Japan, through Senate Resolution number 60, resolution expressing the profound sympathy and sincere condolences of the Senate of the Philippines to the people of Japan on the death of its former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. At this time of his tragic loss, I join the people of Japan, especially his wife, Mrs. Akie Abe, in mourning the loss of a great leader and a friend of the Philippines. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Last but not the least is the distinguished gentleman from the great province of Aurora, the chairperson of the Committee on Finance, Senator Sani Angara. I move that he be recognized, Mr. President.
The chair would like to recognize Senator Sani Angara.
Thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Majority Leader, distinguished colleagues. I was not planning to rise today, but I was moved by the speeches of many who said how much Japan and Prime Minister Abe have contributed to Philippine life and to contributions which made tangible benefits in the lives of every Filipino, especially former Secretary Villar, now our colleague, who mentioned the numerous infrastructure projects. I would be remiss, Mr. President, if I were not to mention that when I was the representative of the province of Aurora and my father was a member of this chamber, we were beneficiaries of Japanese people's largesse because we had the new provincial hospital, which we inaugurated in 2012 with the help of the Japanese government. And the Baler-Pantabangan Road, almost 100 kilometers long, finally was built, which cut travel time to our home province in half. So those were major infrastructure projects which were felt by our people, bringing tangible benefits in terms of shipment of goods, in terms of accessibility to tourists. Our tourism industry boomed as a result of some of these projects which were given to us during the time or the tenure of Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. And for this, we are grateful. We acknowledge his role as one of the world's great statesmen, along with the likes of Germany's Angela Merkel, who ruled or who presided over their parliaments and their country for close to a decade and provided stability, which we often take for granted and which now we don't have in the world today, maybe because we need more statesmen like Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. Obviously, every member of this august chamber have nothing but love to the late Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. And just like this representation, and Senator Bongo wishes to speak before us, I am moving, Mr. President, to just insert into the records our co-sponsorship speech.
Thank you. We put that on record, and indeed, the influence and the support that Prime Minister Abe has given to our country is far and wide-reaching. As a matter of fact, my Facebook page was flooded with condolences when I posted my condolences to the Japan government, as many of you had. Many of our colleagues in the Senate had also posted their condolences, and thousands of outpouring support were posted. They loved your president here, Mr. Ambassador, and your Prime Minister, Mr. Ambassador. And I'd like to just share some a fond memory of him. It was when they announced that Tokyo was the next city for the Olympics, and he came out in his Super Mario costume. And me and my children were clapping while watching this on TV. And that's how, that's the beautiful character that the Prime Minister has as a person, as a personality. So, once again, our deepest condolences. May we have the motion to
Yes, Mr.
approve.
President.
And before I do that, if my colleagues will allow me
I
to
will,
make...
I will
Yes,
do
all
that.
members.
Yes, Mr. President. Mr. President, there are no other members who wish to interpolate and propose amendments to the measure. I move to adopt proposed Senate Resolution number 10, taking into consideration proposed Senate Resolution numbers 28 and 60 with all members of this chamber as co-authors, subject to style. I so move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, the said resolutions, resolution number 10, taking in consideration resolution number 28 and 60 with all members as co-authors, is hereby approved. May we ask for a 1-minute suspension, our dear Majority Leader, so that we can ask our dear Ambassador to come up on the podium to receive the resolution, and all our members to be present in the photo opportunity. Session suspended.
Session is resumed.
Mr. President, this juncture I move that we consider proposed Senate Resolution number 66, taking into consideration proposed Senate Resolution number 68.
Is there any objection? There being none, the motion is approved. Consideration of the proposed Senate Resolution number 66, taking into consideration proposed Senate Resolution number 68 is now in order. With the permission of the body, the Secretary will read only the title of the resolution without prejudice to inserting in the record the whole text thereof.
Proposed Senate Resolution number 66, introduced by Senator Juan Miguel F. Zubiri. Resolution commemorating the 108th founding anniversary of the Iglesia Ni Cristo, commending the leadership of Ca Eduardo V. Manalo, and recognizing its contribution to the Filipino nation and the world.
Thank you. I believe the Senate President, Majority Leader, wishes to sponsor the
Yes,
proposed Senate resolution.
Yes, Mr. President, I move that our distinguished Senate President be recognized to sponsor the proposed resolution. So move, Mr. President.
Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri is recognized.
Maraming salamat po, our distinguished presiding officer. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the Senate, it is my honor and privilege to stand here today to sponsor our Senate resolution commemorating the 108th anniversary of the Iglesia Ni Cristo and commending the leadership of Ca Eduardo V. Manalo. This is not just 108 years of Iglesia Ni Cristo's faith, shared by millions of Filipinos across the globe. This is also 108 years of the Iglesia Ni Cristo's role as one of our partners in nation building, Your Honors. Kaya kinikilala natin ang araw na ito bilang Special National Working Holiday sa ilalim ng Republic Act 9645. Nagpapasalamat po tayo sa Iglesia Ni Cristo sa higit isang siglo nilang pagbibigay ng tulong sa mga kapatid natin nangangailangan, kahit ano pang reliyon. In particular, we commend the INC's Lingap sa Mamamayan Outreach Program and the Felix Y. Manalo Foundation for providing vital assistance in times of crisis. We also commend the UNLAD initiative, or the Unified Livelihood and Development Initiatives, which provides livelihood training and opportunities in garment and food processing factories. This reminds me of what I always say about cooperatives, that the best way to uplift our people is to help them help themselves. The INC understands this deeply and provides valuable opportunities for empowerment through their livelihood programs. For all of us, we salute and thank the Iglesia Ni Cristo at kinikilala rin natin ang tagapamahalang pangkalahatan na si Ca Eduardo Manalo. Sa kanyang pamumuno, lalong tumitibay at lumalago ang komunidad ng INC at lalong lumalawak ang kanilang panenerbisyo sa sambayanan Pilipino. So once again, my dear colleagues, and to the Filipino people, and all our brothers and sisters in the Iglesia Ni Cristo, on behalf of the Senate, we congratulate the Iglesia Ni Cristo and wish them a happy 108th founding anniversary. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Mr. Senate President. Majority Leader?
Yes, Mr. President, may I be recognized to co-sponsor the measure?
Certainly.
Thank you.
Majority Leader is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. We are sending our most heartfelt congratulations to the 108th year of the Iglesia Ni Cristo, led by its highly respected leader, our beloved leader and executive minister, Ca Eduardo Villanueva Manalo. From its humble beginnings at Punta Santa Ana, Manila in 1914 to being present in more than 161 countries and territories with members from 148 nationalities and races. They have been generous in sharing their blessings by spreading the gospel of Christ all over the world. The Iglesia Ni Cristo likewise continues to extend efforts for the welfare of our fellow men. Recently, Mr. President, the church delivered goodwill bags containing rice, canned goods, instant noodles, medicines, and vitamins to communities severely affected by the Typhoon Odette last year. including Aklan, Biliran, Cebu, Iloilo, and Samar, among others, for the whole month of June and provided moral upliftment. That's very important, Mr. President, providing moral upliftment through teachings from the Holy Bible. On June 7, 2022, or 2 days after the eruption of Mount Bulusan in Sorsogon, the Iglesia ni Cristo mobilized the much-needed help to the evacuees through its Lingap sa Mamamayan or Aid to Humanity program. Mr. President, isang malaking karangalan para sa inyong lingkod bilang isang Bulakenyo, lalo na isang Bukawenyo, nang ang pagkakatatagpo ng Philippine Arena ay matatagpuan mismo sa aming hometown ng Bukawi, at isa itong malaking karangalan. Indeed, Mr. President, the INC strives to contribute to the betterment of the community, and we are sincerely grateful for them. Once again, congratulations to the Iglesia ni Cristo, and may God continue to bless the church and each and every member. Mabuhay, and God bless us all.
Thank you very much, Majority Leader. I think there are several members who wish to also give their
Yes, Mr.
sponsorship.
President. First is Senator Bong Revilla, the gentleman from Cavite, who wishes to just insert to the record his sponsorship speech, Mr. President. And next, also, Mr. President, is Senator Bato de la Rosa, who would also like to just insert for the record his sponsorship speech.
I believe
next
Senator
would
Jinggoy raised his hand.
Yep,
Estrada,
the list,
Senator Estrada.
Yes, Mr.
we have a
President.
list? Do we have a list?
I move that we recognize the gentleman from San Juan, Senator Jinggoy Estrada.
Thank
So
you.
move, Mr. President.
Senator Jinggoy Estrada is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is just a short manifestation. This representation is in support of this measure, which commemorates the 108th founding anniversary of the Iglesia ni Cristo. According to the 2015 Philippine Statistics Authority Census on Population and Housing, the INC is the third largest religious affinity in the country, with 2.6 million Filipinos reported Iglesia ni Cristo as their religious affiliation. Since its establishment, the INC has grown from one local in Santa Ana, Manila, to 5,000 houses of worship worldwide. This is a testament of the INC's growth as a religious sector in our society. Ang aming minamahal na lungsod ng San Juan ay matagal din naging tahanan ng Templo Sentral ng Iglesia ni Cristo bago pa man ito nalipat sa kasalukuyang tahanan nito sa lungsod ng Quezon. Kaya naman mula pa sa panahon ng dating Pangulong Joseph Estrada, nung siya pa ay dating mayor ng San Juan, hanggang sa kasalukuyan ay naging malapit sa puso ang aming pamilya, ang ating kapatiran. Sa pangunguna ng tagapamahalang pangkalahatan, ang ka Eduardo Manalo, higit na naging matatag at matagumpay ang kapatiran sa pagpapalaganap ng kabutihan at pagpapatupad ng mga makabuluhang programa sa ating bayan at sa masang Pilipino. Attending not only to the religious needs of its members, the Iglesia ni Cristo also looks after the society in general through various projects such as outreach programs, particularly for calamity victims and indigents, housing programs, livelihood projects to provide income opportunities to both members and non-members, medical dental missions and blood donation drives through the New Era General Hospital, and education through the New Era University. Mr. President, with the permission of the good sponsor, I would like to be made co-author of this resolution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, a distinguished colleague from San Juan.
Yes, Mr. President. Mr. President, Senators Bongo and Senator J.V. Ejercito would like to just insert for the record their sponsorship speech, Mr. President.
Thank you very much for that. We take note of
At this juncture, Mr. President, I move that we recognize the gentleman from Bicol, Senator Robin Hood Padilla, for his sponsorship.
our distinguished colleague from Bicol and the Republic of the Philippines, my dear brother, Senator Robin Hood Padilla, is recognized.
Maraming salamat po. Ginoong Pangulo, aking mga kasama, at sa lahat ng lupon ng pagpupulong na ito, nais ko pong ipahayag ang aking intensyon na maging isa sa mga kapwa may akda ng resolusyon bilang 66. Noong pa man ay kaisa na po natin ang Iglesia ni Cristo sa pangunguna ng tagapamahalang pangkalahatan, ang ating kapatid na si Ka Eduardo Manalo. sa pagsusulong ng matapat na paglilingkod sa bayan, nang may malinaw na paghihiwalay ng simbahan at estado, alinsunod sa ating saligang batas. Sa katunayan, mga kasama, ang inyo pong lingkod ay parte ng mga programa sa telebisyon ng Iglesia ni Cristo sa pagtataguyod ng mga makabuluhang programa katulad po ng Unlad Kaagapay sa Hanap Buhay na nagbibigay ng kabuhayan sa ating mga kababayang pinadapa ng kahirapan at ng pandemya, maging kapatid man nila sa Muslim at hindi kapatid. Alam niyo po, ang lingap, sa loob po ng 30 taon, ang mga kapatid po nilang Muslim ay kanilang tinulungan kahit hindi po nila ito kapatiran sa Iglesia ni Cristo. Ako po ay saksi sa mga ginagawang pag-ibig sa kapwa ng Iglesia ni Cristo. Tunay po na ang Iglesia ni Cristo ay maituturing na Pinoy pride dahil hindi lamang po dito sa ating inang bayang Pilipinas nagparamdam ng kanilang pag-ibig sa kapwa, kung hindi po sa lahat ng sulok ng daigdig hanggang Afrika. Kaya po ako, sigurado po ako, mahal naming Pangulo, na ito pong nangyari sa Region 1 na Lindol. Sigurado po ako, nandyan po at unang darating dyan ang Iglesia ni Cristo. Sa pamamagitan po ng unlad at ng lingap, tahimik po silang tutulong doon. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat sa ating kapatid, Senator Robin Hood Padilla.
Mr. President, last but not the least is the distinguished lady from Antique, our beloved Senate President pro tempore, Senator Lauren Legarda. I move that she be recognized, Mr. President.
We recognize the distinguished Senate President pro tempore, our distinguished colleague from Antique, Senator Lauren Legarda.
Mr. President, the Iglesia ni Cristo continues to be a steadfast religious institution that shapes a nation's moral character and the Filipino spiritual integrity. INC's noble mission of creating an impact on the lives of our people is not exclusive to its members. Iglesia ni Cristo has been active in extending assistance to the needy through its regular mission drives such as the Lingap sa Mamamayan or Aid for Humanity program. Nais ko pong iparating ang aking mainit na pagbati sa lahat ng kaanib ng Iglesia ni Cristo sa pangunguna ng kapatid na Eduardo Manalo, taga pamahalang pangkalahatan ng Iglesia ni Cristo. Maligayang ika-108 taong anibersaryo sa lahat po ng kaanib ng Iglesia ni Cristo. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, there are no other members who wish to interpolate and propose amendments to the measure. I move to adopt proposed Senate Resolution number 66, taking into consideration proposed Senate Resolution number 68 with all members of this chamber as co-authors, subject to style. I so move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, the said resolution is hereby approved.
Mr. President, with the permission of the body, I move that we proceed with the reference of business. So moved.
There being no objection, reference of business is hereby called to order, and we'll ask the Secretary to continue reading for the reference of business.
Bills on first reading. Senate Number 1, institutionalizing the One Tablet, One Student program for all students enrolled in public schools and state universities and colleges, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes by Senator Legarda.
Referred to the Committee on Basic Education, Arts and Culture, Higher Technical Vocational Education, and Finance.
Senate Number 2, Magna Carta of Public School Teachers by Senator Legarda.
Referred to the Committees on Basic Education, Arts and Culture, and Finance.
Senate Number 3, Magna Carta of Private School Teachers by Senator Legarda.
Referred to the Committee on Basic Education, Arts, Culture, and Higher Technical and Vocational Education.
Senate Number 4, upgrading the minimum salaries of public school teachers to salary grade 15, teaching personnel in higher education to solid grade 16 and of non-teaching personnel to 16,000 pesos by Senator Legarda.
Referred to the Committees on Civil Service, Government Reorganization and Professional Regulation, Basic Education, Arts and Culture, and Finance.
Senate number 5, an act providing for the Magna Carta of Barangay Health Workers by Senator Legarda.
Refers to the Committees of Health and Demography and Local Government and Ways and Means and Finance.
Senate number 6, creating the Department of Technical Education Training and Certification, providing for its power, structure, and for other purposes by Senator Legarda.
Referred to the Committees on Higher Technical and Vocational Education, Civil Service, Government Reorganization and Professional Regulation and Finance.
Number 7, further amending Republic Act 8759, otherwise known as the Public Employment Service Office Act of 1999 as amended, to include entrepreneurship in the scope of the law, to rename the present Public Employment Service into the Public Employment Entrepreneurship Office, and to establish the Barangay Employment Entrepreneurship Offices nationwide, defining its role within the existing network, providing funds therefore and for other purposes, Senator Legarda.
Referred to the Committees on Labor, Employment and Human Resources Development, Local Government and Finance.
Senate number 8, an act to promote and advance sustainable livelihood and entrepreneurship by integrating, enhancing, institutionalizing, financing, and other programs for livelihood support for micro, small, and medium enterprises, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes, Senator Legarda.
Referred to the Committees on Trade, Commerce and Entrepreneurship, Economic Affairs and Finance.
Senate number 9, institutionalizing the Philippine ecosystem and natural capital accounting system, mandating its use in policy and decision-making, designating the agencies responsible for its implementation, providing institutional arrangements among responsible agencies, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes by Senator Legarda.
Referred to the Committees on Economic Affairs, Environment, Natural Resources and Climate Change, and Finance.
Number 10, providing for protection of the remittances of overseas Filipino workers, Senator Legarda.
Referred to the Committees on Banks, Financial Institutions and Currencies, Labor and Employment, and Human Resources Development.
11, providing for an education roadmap towards global competitiveness and human capital development by Senator Cayetano P.
Referred to the Committees on Higher Technical and Vocational Education, Basic Education, Arts and Culture.
Number 12, creating the Philippine Center for Disease Control and Prevention, defining its powers and functions and for other purposes by Senator Cayetano P.
Referred to the Committees on Health and Demography and Finance.
Number 13, providing a framework for sustainability-based budgeting by Senator Cayetano P.
Referred to the Committees on Finance and Sustainable Development Goals, Innovation, and Futures Thinking.
Number 14, mandating the establishment of a 20-year sports excellence roadmap to strengthen grassroots sports program and develop world-class elite athletes, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes by Senators Cayetano P. and Cayetano A.P.
Referred to the Committees on Sports and Finance.
15, an act increasing the minimum age of access for tobacco products, thereby amending for this purpose RA 9211, otherwise known as the Tobacco Regulation Act of 2003 by Senator Cayetano P.
Referred to the Committees on Health and Demography, Trade and Commerce and Entrepreneurship.
16, providing a framework on water sustainability by Senator Cayetano P.
Referred to the Committees on Public Services and Finance.
17, providing for a comprehensive nursing law towards the promotion of a quality healthcare system and appropriating funds therefore, repealing for the purpose RA number 9173, otherwise known as the Philippine Nursing Act of 2002 by Senator Cayetano P.
Referred to the Committees on Civil Service, Government Reorganization and Professional Regulation, Health and Demography, and Finance.
Senate number 18, providing for the development of sustainable cities and communities in the country and for other purposes by Senator Cayetano P.
Referred to the Committees on Urban Planning, Housing and Resettlement, Sustainable Development Goals, Innovation, and Futures Thinking.
19, an act establishing a safe pathways network of bicycle lanes and slow streets and for other purposes by Senator Cayetano P.
Mr. President?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, Madam Senator.
Regarding the referral, this bill that is currently being read into the record, Safe Pathways, no, before His Honor makes the official referral, I notice it's in the Sustainable Development Goals, no? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. The bill before that, Your Honor, can I just get the screen? I don't have my copy, so can the screen go down?
Senate Bill number 18. That's an act providing the development of sustainable cities, communities in the country, and other purposes.
Okay, noted. I will confer with the, I don't know, has the chairman been, okay, I will confer with the chairman if, how to handle it. So let me hold my comment for now, Mr. President.
Yes, because we can change referral later on if you
Yes,
wish,
yes.
with the approval of the chairman, to your committee.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. So would you prefer that I hold my comments until everything? What works for the majority floor leader?
If the chairman agrees that you handle the tackling of this particular
Okay,
measure.
I can
then we
talk to him
affect-
later and I'll just listen because these are now all my bills. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam. Please continue.
20, an act promoting sustainable and alternative modes of transportation and other mobility options to improve air quality, increase efficiency, reduce congestion, and contribute to positive health impacts in our society, by Senator Cayetano P.
I'm not sure if we already referred Senate Bill number 19, Mr. Secretary. Parang wala pa yata. Did I refer it already? Wala pa.
Yes.
So let us just tackle Senate
Okay.
Bill number 19. Oo. You skipped one. We only, okay. So maybe read it again, just for the record.
Senate number 19, establishing a safe pathways network of bicycle lanes and slow streets and for other purposes, by Senator Cayetano P.
Referred to the Committees on Sustainable Development Goals, Innovation, Futures Thinking, Public Works and Finance.
20, promoting sustainable and alternative modes of transportation and other mobility options to improve air quality, increase efficiency, reduce congestion, and contribute to positive health impacts in our society, by Senator Cayetano P.
Referred to the Committees on Sustainable Development Goals, Innovations, Futures Thinking, Environment, Natural Resources, and Climate Change, and Finance.
21, amending Section 2 of Republic Act Number 10868, otherwise known as the Centenarians Act of 2016, and for other purposes, by Senator Revilla Jr.
Referred to the Committees on Social Justice, Welfare, and Rural Development, and Finance.
22, institutionalizing the grant of a teaching supplies allowance for public school teachers and appropriating funds therefore, by Senator Revilla Jr.
Referred to the Committees on Civil Service, Government Reorganization, Professional Regulation, Basic Education, Arts and Culture, Ways and Means, and Finance.
23, providing direct financial assistance to Filipino rice farmers, establishing for the purpose the Pantawid Magsasakang Pilipino program, providing funds therefore and for other purposes, by Senator Revilla Jr.
Referred to the Committees on Social Justice, Welfare, and Rural Development, Agriculture, Food and Agrarian Reform, and Finance.
24, granting 15 days of paid leave a year to employees whose spouse, parent, unmarried child, or when they themselves are suffering from serious illness, by Senator Revilla Jr.
Referred to the Committee on Labor and Employment, Human Resource Development.
25, providing for a free public housing program, amending for the purpose RA 11201 and for other purposes, by Senator Revilla Jr.
Referred to the Committees on Urban Planning, Housing, and Resettlement.
26, accelerating the implementation of the Philippine Health Facility Development Plan, thereby creating a build program for hospitals and other health facilities and appropriating funds therefore, Senator Revilla Jr.
Referred to the Committees on Health and Demography, Public Works, and Finance.
27, establishing the National Center for Geriatric Health and Research Institute, defining its powers and functions, creating regional geriatric specialty centers in the Department of Health retained hospitals, and appropriating funds therefore, Senator Revilla Jr.
Referred to the Committees on Health, Demography, Ways and Means, and Finance.
28, reviving the Philippine movie industry by providing incentives to proprietors, lessees, operators of theaters and cinemas, by Senator Revilla Jr.
Referred to the Committees on Public Information and Mass Media and Ways and Means.
29, expanding the coverage of the tertiary education subsidy, amending for the purpose RA 10931, otherwise known as the Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education Act, Senator Revilla Jr.
Referred to the Committees on Higher Technical and Vocational Education and Finance.
30, providing a framework to protect and promote the right to adequate food, Senator Revilla Jr.
Referred to the Committees on Justice and Human Rights and Finance.
31, providing for the social pension of indigent persons with disability and providing funds therefore, Senator Lapid.
Referred to the Committees on Social Justice, Welfare, and Rural Development, and Finance.
32, exempting qualified indigent Filipinos from payment of professional examination fees and for other purposes, Senator Lapid.
Referred to the Committees on Civil Service, Government Reorganization, Professional Regulation, and Social Justice, Welfare, and Rural Development. 33,
establishing an interagency government task force for the protection and assistance of tourists, Senator Lapid.
Referred to the Committees on Tourism and Finance.
34, enhancing the resiliency and adaptability of farmers to adverse weather and climate events by institutionalizing the use of crop climate calendars, equipping farmers for climate-sensitive decision-making, and providing access to localized weather and climate information, Senator Lapid.
Referred to the Committees on Agriculture, Food and Agrarian Reform, Science and Technology, and Finance.
35, enhancing the patient's right to medical expense transparency and preventing unexpected medical bills and for other purposes, Senator Lapid.
Referred to the Committees on Health and Demography and Finance.
36, establishing a framework for film and television tourism in the Philippines, creating an interagency committee on film and television tourism and for other purposes, Senator Lapid.
Referred to the Committees on Public Information and Mass Media, Tourism, Ways and Means, and Finance.
37, promoting the adoption of digital payments for financial transactions and of the government and all merchants and for other purposes, Senator Lapid.
Referred to the Committees on Banks, Financial Institutions, Currencies, and Finance.
38, providing measures to protect individuals engaged in food, grocery, and pharmacy delivery services, Senator Lapid.
Referred to the Committees on Trade, Commerce, and Entrepreneurship.
39, mandating the establishment of an online legal knowledge and assistance system that will be accessible nationwide, Senator Lapid.
Referred to the Committees on Science and Technology, Justice and Human Rights, and Finance.
40, redefining the crime of game fixing and prescribing higher penalties, therefore amending for this purpose PD number 483, Senator Lapid.
Referred to sports, how about games and amusements? Because game fixing, this could also mean betting sports. So let's refer to the Committee on Sports and Games and Amusements.
41, further strengthening the National Wages and Productivity Commission, further amending for this purpose Articles 121 and 122 of PD 442, otherwise known as the Labor Code of the Philippines as amended by RA 6727, Senator Estrada.
Referred to the Committee on Labor, Employment, Human Resource Development.
42, providing for a Magna Carta for workers, enterprises, and organizations in informal economy and providing mechanisms for recognition, integration, and transition to the formal economy, Senator Estrada.
Referred to the Committees on Labor, Employment, Human Resource Development, Social Justice, Welfare, and Rural Development, and Finance.
43, providing for the condonation of penalties for unpaid Social Security System contributions of household employers relative to RA 7655, entitled An Act Increasing the Minimum Wage of House Helpers, amending for the purpose Article 143 of PD 442, as amended, and Republic Act Number 10361, also known as Domestic Workers Act or Batas Kasambahay, by Senator Estrada.
Referred to the Committees on Government Corporations, Public Enterprises, Labor and Employment, and Human Resource Development.
44, providing for working time flexibilization in the private sector and for other purposes, thereby amending Article 83, 85, and 87 of PD 442, as amended, otherwise known as the Labor Code of the Philippines, Senator Estrada.
Referred to the Committees on Labor, Employment, and Human Resource Development.
45, providing protection to freelancers and for other purposes, Senator Estrada.
Referred to the Committees on Labor, Employment, and Human Resource Development.
46, an act instituting the Magna Carta of Filipino seafarers, Senator Estrada.
Referred to the Committees on Labor, Employment, and Human Resource Development, and Foreign Relations.
47, providing indigent job applicants a 20% discount in the payment of fees and charges for certain certificates and clearances issued by government agencies, Senator Estrada.
Referred to the Committees on Labor, Employment, and Human Resource Development, Social Justice, Welfare, and Rural Development.
48, regulating the compensation of public utility bus drivers and conductors by requiring bus operators to pay them fixed monthly salaries and providing penalties for violations thereof, Senator Estrada.
Referred to the Committee on Labor, Employment, and Human Resource Development.
49, establishing the National Manpower Data and Placement Center and providing funds therefor, Senator Estrada.
Referred to the Committees on Labor, Employment, Human Resource Development, and Finance.
50, establishing the National Employment Assistance Center of the Philippines and appropriating funds therefor, Senator Estrada.
Referred to the Committees on Labor, Employment, and Human Resource Development, and Finance. There's an additional reference to business.
Additional reference of business. Bills on first reading. Senate number 51, prohibiting any form of interference by national government agencies with the use of the national tax allotment and locally generated revenues of local government units, Senator Escudero.
Referred to the Committees on Local Government and Ways and Means.
52, an act to further strengthen local autonomy through a more rationalized system of decentralization, amending for the purpose RA 7160, otherwise known as the Local Government Code of 1991 as amended, Senator Escudero.
Referred to the Committees on Local Government and Finance.
53, promoting business competitiveness by providing temporary tax relief to single proprietorships, cooperatives, partnerships, or corporations classified as micro, small, and medium enterprises, Senator Escudero.
Referred to the Committees on Trade, Commerce, and Entrepreneurship, and Ways and Means.
54, promoting business growth and recovery by reducing the cost of business compliance for micro, small, and medium enterprises, amending for the purpose NIRC Code of 1997 as amended by Senator Escudero.
Referred to the Committees on Ways and Means and Trade, Commerce, and Entrepreneurship.
55, providing for the condonation of all unpaid principal, interest, penalties, or surcharges on loans secured by the agrarian reform beneficiaries under the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program and for other purposes, Senator Escudero.
Referred to the Committees on Agriculture, Food, and Agrarian Reform.
56, mandating government officials and employees to execute and submit a written permission to examine, inquire, or look into all their deposits and investments, thereby waiving the bank secrecy laws provided for under RA numbers 1405 and 6426, Senator Escudero.
Referred to the Committee on Banks, Financial Institutions, and Currencies.
57, amending paragraph A, section 393, chapter 4, title 1, book 3 of RA 7160, the Local Government Code as amended, increasing the benefits of barangay officials by Senator Escudero.
Referred to the Committee on Local Government.
58, lowering the compulsory retirement age of employees of the Department of Education from 65 years old to 60 years old, Senator Escudero.
Referred to the Committee on Civil Service, Government Reorganization, and Professional Regulation.
59, institutionalizing a comprehensive social benefits program for uniformed personnel and other qualified auxiliary service members who are killed, wounded, or rendered physically disabled in legitimate actions or operations, creating for the purpose a comprehensive social benefits program trust fund, and for other purposes by Senator Escudero.
Referred to the Committees on National Defense and Security, Peace, Unification, and Reconciliation, Local Government, and Finance.
60, providing an increase and an automatic adjustment mechanism in the personal economic relief allowance granted to government employees, Senator Escudero.
Referred to the Committees on Civil Service, Government Reorganization, Professional Regulation, and Finance.
61, institutionalizing national values, etiquette, moral uprightness program, a commission on Filipino values, and an interfaith presidential council, instituting a faith-based and values-oriented leadership and for other purposes by Senator Cayetano AP.
Referred to the Committee on Basic Education, Arts, and Culture.
62, providing a 10,000 peso cash assistance to all Filipino families to help them cope with the effects of the current coronavirus pandemic and increasing prices of goods and services and for other purposes by Senator Cayetano AP.
Referred to the Committees on Social Justice, Welfare, and Rural Development, and Finance.
63, prohibiting online gambling, penalizing the placing of wagers or bets through the internet or any form of online gambling activities and for other purposes by Senator Cayetano AP.
Referred to the Committee on Games and Amusements.
64, establishing the Micro-Enterprise Recovery as a catalyst for healing and national transformation loan program, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes by Senator Cayetano AP.
Referred to the Committee on Trade, Commerce, Entrepreneurship, and Finance.
65, institutionalizing a microfinance programs and access to capital to support and grow micro-enterprises, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes by Senator Cayetano AP.
Referred to the Committees on Trade, Commerce, Entrepreneurship, Economic Affairs, Ways and Means, and Finance.
66, creating the Emergency Response Department, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes, Senator Cayetano AP.
Referred to the Committees on National Defense and Security, Peace, Unification, Reconciliation, Civil Service, Government Reorganization, Professional Regulation, and Finance.
67, institutionalizing the use of mobile application para sa Pilipino, otherwise known as mobile APP, in the delivery of basic government services and programs, providing funds therefore and for other purposes, Senator Cayetano AP.
Referred to the Committees on Science and Technology, Civil Service, Government Reorganization, Professional Regulation, and Finance.
68, strengthening our primary healthcare system through the appointment of sufficient barangay health workers in cities and municipalities and elevating their status from volunteers to job order, contractual, casual, or regular employees, and further strengthening the barangay healthcare system for other purposes, Senator Cayetano AP.
Referred to the Committees on Health and Demography, Local Government, and Finance.
69, providing for the creation of centers for the elderly in every city and municipality, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes by Senator Cayetano AP.
Referred to the Committees on Social Justice, Welfare, and Rural Development, and Local Government and Finance.
70, establishing the National Health Passport System and strengthening the primary healthcare system, appropriating funds therefore and other purposes, Senator Cayetano AP.
Referred to Committees on Health and Demography and Finance.
71, suspending the imposition of value-added tax and excise taxes on fuel, amending sections 106, 107, and 148 of the NIRC Code of 1997 as amended by Senator Pimentel III.
Referred to Committee on Ways and Means.
72, modernizing the Philippine Orthopedic Center, upgrading its service facilities and appropriating funds therefore, Senator Pimentel III.
Referred to the Committees on Health and Demography and Finance.
73, extending the validity of the authority to solemnize marriage issued to priests, ministers, or rabbis, amending for the purpose Article number 95 of the Civil Code of the Philippines, as amended by RA 6514 and for other purposes, Senator Pimentel III.
Referred to the Committee on Women, Children, Family Relations, and Gender Equality.
74, amending Section 2 of RA 10868, otherwise known as the Centenarians Act of 2016 by Senator Pimentel III.
Referred to the Committees on Social Justice, Welfare, and Rural Development, and Finance.
75, providing a microfinancing program for micro-enterprises, thereby promoting entrepreneurship, Senator Pimentel III.
Referred to the Committees on Trade, Commerce, and Entrepreneurship and Finance.
76, abolishing the travel tax on Filipinos and on nationals of Association of Southeast Asian Nations member states traveling to other ASEAN member states, Senator Pimentel III.
Referred to the Committees on Ways and Means and Tourism.
77, creating the position of Municipal General Services Officer in municipal governments, amending Section 433A and Section 490A of RA 7160, otherwise known as the Local Government Code of 1991, Senator Pimentel III.
Referred to the Committee on Local Government.
78, authorizing the President of the Philippines to establish the archipelagic sea lanes in Philippine archipelagic waters, prescribing the obligations of foreign ships and aircraft, exercising the archipelagic sea lanes passage to the designated archipelagic sea lanes and for other purposes, Senator Pimentel III.
Referred to the Committee on Foreign Relations and Finance.
79, an act mandating age-appropriate computer programming subjects in the curriculum of Enhanced Basic Education Program and appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes, Senator Pimentel III.
Referred to Committees on Basic Education, Arts and Culture, and Finance.
80, establishing regional branches of specialty hospitals such as the Philippine Heart Center, National Kidney and Transplant Institute, Lung Center of the Philippines, Philippine Children's Medical Center, and Philippine Cancer Center, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes by Senator Zubiri.
Referred to Committees on Health and Demography, Ways and Means and Finance.
Senate number 81, creating the Department of Disaster Resilience, defining its powers and functions and appropriating funds therefore, Senator Zubiri.
Referred to Committees on National Defense, Security, Peace and Unification, and Reconciliation, Civil Service, Government Reorganization, and Professional Regulation and Finance.
82, requiring the registration of subscriber identity module cards in mobile phones, Senator Zubiri.
Referred to Committees on Public Services, Trade, Commerce, and Entrepreneurship.
83, providing for additional support and compensation for educators in basic education, Senator Zubiri.
Referred to Committees on Civil Service, Government Reorganization, Professional Regulation, Basic Education, Arts and Culture, and Finance.
84, mandating the appointment of barangay health workers in every barangay, amending for the purpose RA 7160, otherwise known as the Local Government Code, for the expanding the benefits of barangay officials and for other purposes by Senator Zubiri.
Referred to Committees on Health and Demography and Local Government.
85, establishing the Magna Carta for barangays, Senator Zubiri.
Referred to Committees on Local Government, Ways and Means and Finance.
86, an act instituting the Magna Carta of Filipino seafarers, Senator Zubiri.
Referred to Committees on Labor, Employment, and Human Resource Development and Foreign Relations.
87, creating the Department of Water Resources, defining its powers and functions, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes, Senator Zubiri.
Referred to the Committees on Public Services, Civil Service, Government Reorganization, Professional Regulation, and Finance.
88, instituting the Medical Reserve Corps and appropriating funds therefore, Senator Zubiri.
Referred to the Committees on Health and Demography and Finance.
89, establishing the Negros Island region to be known as Region 18, Senator Zubiri.
Referred to Committees on Local Government and Finance.
90, an act to develop exports as a key to accelerating economic growth and enhancing the global competitiveness of Philippine products and services, thereby amending RA 7844, otherwise known as the Export Development Act of 1994, and for other purposes, Senator Angara.
Referred to Committees on Trade and Commerce and Entrepreneurship, Economic Affairs and Finance.
91, establishing the Philippine e-health system and services in support of universal health care, using information and communications technology in the Philippines and appropriating funds therefore, Senator Angara.
Referred to Committees on Health and Demography, Science and Technology, and Finance.
92, establishing a hospital in state colleges and universities offering medical degrees nationwide and providing funds therefore, Senator Angara.
Referred to Committees on Health and Demography, Higher Technical Vocational Education, and Finance.
93, establishing satellite specialty hospitals to facilitate access to specialized medical care in identified regions of the Philippines and appropriating funds therefore, Senator Angara.
Referred to the Committees on Health and Demography, Ways and Means and Finance.
94, providing for a teaching supplies allowance for public school teachers and appropriating funds therefore, Senator Angara.
Referred to the Committees on Civil Service, Government Reorganization, Professional Regulation, Basic Education, Arts and Culture, and Finance.
95, granting 5% discount on basic and education services to underprivileged students in all levels, including those enrolled in technical vocational institutions by Senator Angara.
Referred to the Committees on Basic Education, Arts and Culture, Higher Technical Vocational Education, and Ways and Means.
96, providing for the Magna Carta of Workers in Informal Economy, institutionalizing mechanisms for implementation thereof and for other purposes, Senator Angara.
Referred to Committees on Labor, Employment and Human Resource Development, Social Justice, Welfare and Rural Development, and Finance.
97, institutionalizing the poverty reduction through school entrepreneurship program and promoting social enterprises with the poor as primary stakeholders, Senator Angara.
Referred to Committees on Trade, Commerce and Entrepreneurship, Social Justice, Welfare and Rural Development, and Finance.
98, establishing the legal framework for ensuring the availability, adequacy, accessibility, and safety of food for all Filipinos, Senator Angara.
Referred to Committees on Justice and Human Rights and Finance.
99, eradicating mobile phone, internet, or electronic communication-aided criminal activities, mandating for this purpose ownership, registration of all subscriber identity module cards for electronic devices and social media accounts, Senator Poe.
Referred to Committees on Public Services, Trade and Commerce and Entrepreneurship.
100, implementing the people's right to information and the constitutional policies of full public disclosure and honesty in the public service and for other purposes by Senator Poe.
Referred to Committees on Public Information and Mass Media, Civil Service, Government Reorganization, Professional Regulation, and Finance. Majority Leader.
President, I move for a minute suspension, Mr. President.
Yes, the session is suspended 1 Senate
One
minute.
Senate minute, Mr. President. Thank you. Mr. President, I move that we adjourn the session until 3 o'clock in the afternoon of Monday, August 1st, 2022. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, the session is adjourned until 3 o'clock in the afternoon of Monday, August 1, 2022. Have a pleasant weekend, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.